back, homesteaders. This is Ready Set Homestead. So we got some new chicks here. I'm gonna go ahead and show you the chicks that we have, and I'm gonna show you how to go ahead and set up your brooding system so that you can raise them until they're old enough to put them out into pasture, into the coop, into the run, whatever you're gonna be using. But go ahead and check out the chicks that we got here. So we have 9 chicks. Some of these little furry head guys right here, these are cream leg bars. So they'll have some nice fuzzy heads. We also have 3 Americanas. That's these guys running around. I have 2 production blues, and then we also have 2 French copper Morans. So the French copper Morans will lay dark chocolate eggs, and all the other ones lay blue colored eggs. So, but brooder setup, it's pretty easy. You can make things on your own. Most of this stuff I did purchase. Actually, all this stuff I did purchase. I had made stuff on my own, and I found out it was just as easy to buy it. So this is a fairly large feeder that I'll be using for these, but I also have 9 chicks. This is gonna hold quite a bit of feed. So got this one right here, and I wanna say that was probably about 10 or 12 bucks. This is a waterer. Now this is a larger waterer. If you only have 3, 4, 5 chicks, you can use the smaller ones. The smaller ones are also good because the chicks aren't gonna drown inside of it. So with this one, I have a bunch of rocks. So I'll be putting these rocks inside to help kind of fill up the area, just like this, so that the chicks don't fall in there, get stuck, and drown, because chicks are stupid. I mean, these are like 5 days old. So if you think about it, we gotta make sure that they don't drown. So I'll be putting the rocks inside there to help prevent that. You can use a bunch of different things. You can get a tote like I did. I think I got this one from Lowe's. Definitely make sure that you're looking at 18 inches, depending on how long you're gonna be keeping them in there. We are in Louisiana. It's very, very hot, so we don't have to keep the chickens under heat as long as other places. A week-old chick for the first week needs to be at 95 degrees. Every week it goes down about 5 degrees. So these are about a week old. They're safe in that 90-degree temperature. Our nights do get down to about 75. So I'll probably keep heat on them at night until they're about 3 weeks old, just because that'll get us into that 80, 85 range. And I know the shed that they're gonna be keeping in is gonna be that hot. But after 3 weeks, I'm not gonna be putting heat on them. Depending on the area that you live in, the time of year, you might have to have heat on them for 6, 7, 8 weeks until they get to that point where they can survive the temperatures. When chicks are young, cold kills them. Heat is what they need. As they get older, chickens can handle the cold. It's the heat that'll. So with these guys, we wanna keep them hot. So we're gonna go ahead and start putting everything together. One of the first things I'm gonna do, I do have this DE here. DE, if you ever hear people talk about it, is diatomaceous earth. So diatomaceous earth, and I'm gonna just use my hands because I don't care, but it's basically a bunch of crushed up seashells, all sorts of stuff. Make sure you use food grade though, because if you don't, the other stuff is not good. So what this does, if we could look at it on a microscopic level, they're crystalline. It's like little tiny salt crystals. And so what happens is if there's any mites on the chicks, this will actually cut into the mite and it just sucks all the moisture out of them. So it almost instantaneously kills insects, mites, things of that nature. So I am gonna put it in here because I'm not planning on really composting it much. It makes it more difficult to compost your bedding, because when you're composting, you need some of those bugs, and it kills all of them. So I'm putting, this is pine shavings. Now this is from Tractor Supply. This was, I think, $6 for this whole thing. There's a couple different kind of pine shavings. You can use the flakes or fine. This is considered fine. I like the fine more than the flakes for what I do, just because when I do put it in compost, which I'm not doing right now, but when I do put it in compost, it just makes everything easier. But the bedding is going to help keep them warm. It's also going to absorb some of that poop. They're going to be spilling a lot of that water, so it'll help absorb that as well. And we got the diatomaceous earth in there to keep it all going. Put this under this, so the rain doesn't get wet. All right, so we got my diatomaceous earth. Got our bedding. I'm gonna go ahead and set up the waterer first. Now when you do this, I already have this filled with water. I did put a garlic clove inside there. Garlic is really good for chickens as well. It helps keep them healthy, just like humans. Helps get rid of worms and things of that nature. So once you fill up the water, kind of know where you're gonna put it. Now the big thing here, so you don't spill a ton, the water comes out right here. So you can hold this at an angle. Once you flip it upside down though, come on in here, the water is gonna come out. See? Now that's called a gravity feeder. So with the gravity feeder, the water is not going to go above that line. You can make one. I did. It's easier to use that. That was $6. So my chicks don't drown. Making sure I don't cover up that hole though. And you don't have to do this with the rocks. This is just extra protection because I got a bunch of them and I don't really want them to die. So I'll probably put one in more later. All right, so we got the water in. Now we're gonna put the feed. This is the chick starter. They got starter, they got grower. Honestly, I use the grower for their first 4 weeks. And then after that, I just switch them to regular feed. Some people will tell you need to use grower. My chickens are huge and I didn't do that. So I also make my own feed for my layers. So this, I'm just gonna fill this whole thing up. This is not gonna be out where it's gonna get wet. So I'm gonna fill this entire thing up so that I don't have to do it as often. I like coming out and seeing the hens every single day. Chicks are a pain. So other than checking in to make sure that they're not dead, I don't wanna have to do a whole lot of work. All right. So, let's take a look. We have our feed right here. We have our water source right here. There is plenty of room. I got 9 chicks. That's a lot of chicks, but that is plenty of room for them with their size right here. There's a couple different ways you can do it. You can jump in there and grab them and set them in there, or you can just, dump them in. So all chicks out? All right, all chicks are out. I'm gonna spread the bedding around. It's not really gonna matter because they're gonna mess it up anyway. But yeah, first thing, they're all just kind of going to this area. For the top, as they get older, they will start jumping up on top of that water and they'll try to jump out. I've learned that this size is good for about 4 or 5 weeks old, but I do like to put on a screen. This is just an old screen that we used to have. That's enough to keep them in there until they're about 4 weeks old, at which point I'll integrate them with the flock outside. There's a bunch of different ways that you can make a brooder. This is what I found works the best. That's really all I got for you. So have fun, enjoy life, stay savvy. This is Ready, Set, Homestead. See you next time.